The insurance companies,
the insurance industry.
These days, we really can't afford to make billing mistakes. Every owner needs to get paid 100% of what they're owed by insurance companies, but here's the reality.
they delay, they deny, offer excuses, and at the end of the day, they just won't pay.
Insurance companies work hard to find ways to not pay you.
It is a deliberate strategy to maximize profits.
Let me walk you through the 5 most devastating billing mistakes I see practices making. I've spent over 15 years managing PT billing operations, and I've seen these exact mistakes cost practices hundreds of thousands of lost revenue. I'll show you real examples of how these errors occur and give you actionable steps to prevent them from happening in your practice. Before we dive in, let me share something shocking. Many physical therapy clinics are operating at just a 10% profit margin. That means that even a 90% billing success rate leads to merely breaking even. That's simply not acceptable anymore. Your billing department needs to be operating at 100% to maintain healthy profits in today's environment. Here's a story that we see way too often that perfectly illustrates this first critical mistake. New clients frequently come to us after losing tens of thousands of dollars in denied claims. Their front desk staff rely way too much on online portals to verify insurance eligibility. They thought they were being efficient, but here's what they didn't realize. For physical therapy benefits, the insurance information on these portals is frequently not correct. Here's what typically happens. The front desk gets what looks like complete information from the portal. They see that authorization isn't required and the provider is in network. But then, weeks later, the claims start getting denied because authorization was actually needed, or worse, the provider wasn't truly in network at all. Even with Medicare enrolled patients, eligibility can be a huge issue. Patients will often present a Medicare card, but they actually have a Medicare Advantage plan they forgot about. Or sometimes a patient is still registered as being in home health, which means we won't get paid if we don't catch this upfront. The solution is simple but non-negotiable. You must make phone calls to verify benefits. Get a name and reference number for every call. Yes, it takes more time, but it's far less time than what you'll spend fighting denials or trying to collect from patients months later. And usually, you won't get paid if you missed an authorization, so making the phone call is really a no-brainer. This next mistake is costing practices thousands without them even realizing it. Let me share what happened with one of our clients. With one of the big 5 insurance companies, their previous billing company had been auto-posting payments and simply adjusting off any unpaid amounts. What they didn't realize was that the insurance company was systematically denying all therapeutic activities codes. But of course, they were using adjustment codes instead of denial codes. When we investigated, we discovered something shocking. This payer admitted they frequently deny paying on some codes just to see if the practice will appeal. They stated that if a clinic doesn't appeal denials, they'll keep on denying more things, assuming there are errors on the clinical side. This doesn't seem fair, but it's exactly why your billing team needs to be reviewing every single line item every single time. Auto posting is fine as a tool, but someone needs to be overseeing this process and ensuring each claim is paid correctly. This third mistake might seem basic, but it's causing massive revenue leaks in practices across the country. And here's what happens. Your team sends out claims, assumes they've been received, and then weeks later discovers the payer never got them. We just saw this last week with a new client that had just onboarded with us. I can't tell you how many times we've taken over accounts for new clients, and when we call on unpaid claims, the payer indicates they never received the initial claim. This is completely preventable with a good clearinghouse and proper follow-up protocols. Your billing team should be confirming receipt of every single claim. Yes, every single one. The few minutes this takes up front can save weeks of delayed payments and prevent timely filing issues down the road. This fourth mistake is particularly costly because it creates a snowball effect of lost revenue. Let me paint a picture of how this typically plays out. A claim gets denied because authorization wasn't obtained. Instead of immediately addressing this with the front desk and management, the billing team sets it aside to handle later. Meanwhile, the patient continues to be seen, and every single one of those visits will also be denied for the same reason. I've seen practices lose tens of thousands of dollars because of this delay in addressing and communicating denials. The solution is to have a system for immediate denial review and communication. Your billing team should be alerting the appropriate staff about denials within 24 hours, especially when it impacts future visits. This final mistake is probably the greatest cause of revenue loss I see in practices. When we take over new accounts, we often find claims that haven't been worked for months. This doesn't just delay payment, it can lead to complete non-payment due to timely filing limits. But there's another critical reason to work claims monthly. Patient balances will usually not be entered until after insurance processes the claim. The longer the period between when the patient is seen and when they're billed, the less likely you are to collect patient balances. Plus, working claims monthly helps identify shifts in payer policies that you need to adapt to quickly. Let me give you a real example. We recently took over billing for a practice and found that over $100,000 in claims hadn't been worked in over 6 months. Many had passed timely filing limits, and others had patient balances that now had a low probability of being paid. This was money the practice had essentially thrown away by not having proper follow-up procedures. There you have it, the top 5 billing mistakes that can tank your profit margin. Remember, in today's environment, we really can't afford to let insurance companies keep any of the money that you've earned. Make sure your billing entity is not making any of these 5 critical mistakes. While there's obviously a lot more that goes into ensuring billing is done correctly, these 5 items are a great place to start to make sure your billing entity is working at 100% for you. Take action today on these to protect your profits and ensure you're getting paid everything you're owed.